this is Joe from 718 Cyclery and Outdoors, and today we're going to do a gear review talking about the PedalCell device. And I'll say one thing really quick about the reviews that we do. These are not like bro handout reviews where I'm getting free things and I'm reviewing them and I love them. What a surprise. These are things that I buy and things that I use and things that I feel compelled to talk about. So there's no editorial input from any of the vendors. I use it, I'll tell you what I think. So today we're going to talk about PedalCell. And PedalCell, again, is a dynamo system that you attach onto your bike. And what it does is it allows you to generate power while you're pedaling. So we'll talk about what's in the box. We'll talk about how it installs. We'll talk about how I use it. And we'll talk about some of the outputs that I've gotten since I've been using it. All right, so here we go. Let's talk about what's in the box. All right, here we go. PedalCell, what's in the box? Upon opening, you'll see a bunch of informational sheets, some do's and do not do's. And here's the device itself. So this is the actual dynamo device with a cabling that goes to the junction box, power box, I believe it's called. In addition, you have a couple spacers here. This helps you attach it to the fork. You also have one charging cable. So that's it. I think the simplicity of the packaging really speaks to the simplicity of how easy it is to kind of get using this device really fast. So now let's talk about how I have it installed on my bike. So here we go. I have it installed here on my Cyclery Crosscheck. It basically installs onto the fork with two bolts that just kind of bolt right in. My panniers are in the way here. Basically just bolts around the fork, and then you're set to align this drum, this is the dynamo device, up with your rim. So you're able to use a couple of different set screws here and a couple of different rotationals to kind of get that rotated perfectly. I've installed this on a few bikes. I've had no problems moving it back and forth. It takes about 5 minutes. You can use disc brake or rim brake bikes. Sorry for all the noise, but we're outside here in Brooklyn. Rim brake or disc brake, it does not matter. You can even install it onto the seat, the chainstay, if for some reason the install on the fork will get in the way of other pieces of equipment. Normally on a disc brake bike, I'll have it on the drive side of the fork, so it's the other side of the fork. Just a little more of an intuitive setup, I think. But again, on this bike, because I have cantilever brakes, that really means that I can't set this up on the drive side of the fork, so it's set up on the non-drive side of the fork. So again, super easy setup, just two bolts that clamp around the fork, and you can use the included spacers to make sure it works. All right, back inside after coming out on that loud city street. My interest in this product really focused around two things. One, the commuter that wants to be able to generate power and charge devices while they're commuting. But more importantly for me, it was we do a lot of trips and tours and adventures and all kinds of things. So the big idea here was like, could you use this device and be a lot more self-sustainable electrically on a trip? Sometimes on longer trips, you're always searching for an outlet at the ranger station in the bathroom so you can charge devices for the next day. So my thought was, wow, could you use this and be a lot more self-sufficient on longer trips? So what I've done is I've used, over the summer, I've used this on 3 or 4 of our longer rides. I wouldn't call them long trips. They're up and back, in a day. We're leaving, we're camping, we're coming back the next day. But I was able to use the PedalCell device in comparison to other devices that I've used over the years. We've done a lot of the same trip over and over again. So I have a lot of data and understanding about my output and my speed and what I'm getting in terms of charging. And here's what I found as the garbage truck kind of rolls by the front here. My microphone is broken, so I'm using the phone audio. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So normally when I would go on what we call a micro tour, and that's a 45 to 60 mile ride, camp, and then come back on a self-supported loaded touring bike. In the past, what I would do is I have a dynamo hub set up. I would run a charging device, I guess essentially a light that has a USB charging connection. And I always run two devices when I'm on a micro tour. I run my phone and I run my GPS device. And both of those have to be at 100% in my opinion, just from a safety point of view. I need full charge at any given moment in case something happens in a remote area. So traditionally what would happen in years past is I would keep my phone charged with my dynamo device. And what would happen is at the end of the ride, my phone wouldn't be topped off at 100%. It would be at about 40 or 45%. So all that charge was doing was just reducing the rate that I was losing power on my phone. My Garmin, I wouldn't even try to charge because there just wasn't enough output. So my Garmin GPS device, I would get to camp at around 10%. So I'm hitting camp in the evening with a phone that's at about 40% and a GPS device at 10%. And now I have to charge these overnight with external batteries so that the next day I'll be able to have a full charge for the ride back. And I've done that for years. So I have a lot of data about that. I've done that for years. Using the PedalCell, and again, I've used it 3 or 4 times in some of these very similar trips. Sounds too good to be true, but everything is totally charged when I get to camp. I'm 100% on the phone, 100% on GPS. I bring a smaller external battery in case there's some kind of issue. I haven't had to use it yet, but I always will bring that just as a backup. But in terms of the output, it really, truly is fantastic. And I'm even going to start charging, we're doing a trip in the Catskills in the fall, so I'm going to start charging batteries on trips. And I feel that I'm not even getting close to the capacity of what I'm able to charge because I'm only charging my phone and my GPS device. So the next question I always get is drag. Is it weigh a lot? Is it going to slow you down? Do you feel it? Do you remember those old dynamos on the back of your bikes when you were a kid, those rusty bottle-shaped dynamos? This is nothing like that. And I'll tell you a little anecdote. When I first installed it over the summer, as you're rolling your bike around and getting ready to go on it, you feel I felt like a rumble, like I felt the vibration of that spinning wheel against the rim. And I went for a ride, and I felt sluggish on the ride, and of course I blamed the PedalCell, and it's dragging, there's so much resistance, blah, blah, blah. So I connected with Adam at PedalCell and kind of described what I had found. And he told me that it was all in my head. And he told me that, do some test laps with it and without it. So what I did was actually went to a Prospect Park, which is a park nearby, ran some test laps with it, with the PedalCell kind of engaged and with it not engaged. And absolutely no change in my overall speed, my average speed, nothing. When I came back and looked at the numbers, nothing. I've done 2 or 3 micro tours with the device this summer, and these are micro tours that I have tons of data over the last 5 or 6 years about how fast I've gone, what my average speed was. Absolutely no difference, no change, no noticeable dip. In some cases, I was even faster because I've lost a little weight, so I'm getting to be a faster cyclist. But absolutely nothing in the drag department that I can report. And I'm using it on a daily basis for all my rides in the park. So, again, it does answer the question where it does become that device that really allows you to be a lot more self-sufficient on the road. So weights and cost and things like that. So it weighs, all in with all the device and the junction box and the wires, it's about 544 grams. And kind of if you compare that to what a dynamo hub would add to a build in addition to the lighting and stuff, really comparable. The price, we're selling it here for $309. And if you think about what a wheel build would cost, and I've done a lot of these, the cost of the hub, the cost of the spokes, the cost of the rim, the cost of labor, the cost of the labor to wire it, the cost of the lights, it gets up there pretty quick. The nice thing about the PedalCell is that you can actually swap it between bikes, which I've just done. I have one bike that I was using for most of the summer. I'm using another bike for the next couple of trips as a trial. And I was able to move the device in about 5 minutes. And again, thinking about moving a dynamo hub, there are implications there with wiring, implications there with different hub spacings and axle spacings and things like that. So not an easy swap from bike to bike. So that's a real big advantage too, that multiple riders can use it and you can use it on multiple bikes. So in the end, I'm really happy with the product. It's one of those things where you're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. Too good to be true. You think about all these things and the shoe hasn't dropped yet. And again, I put it through some demanding tests, and safety is really important to me and the groups that I lead. And I wouldn't use a device that I wasn't truly satisfied with or had 100% confidence in. So I really like the device. Again, we sell them here at 718. Super easy install. Any questions, let me know. In addition, I have a link down below to a slightly more extensive review I've done on our blog. So again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you get a chance, but really cool product. And again, any questions, email me, call me, stop by, and I can tell you more about what I think about PedalCell. But anyway, thanks for watching.